Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order. And I have a motion moved by R. Herget, seconded by Carol Lawrence. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby returns to open session of Council at 7:01. Any comments, questions on the motion? Call the question. All those in favour? Any opposed? That's carried. Should have said that was 7:01 p.m. for anybody that was keeping track. And matters arising from closed session, I'd just like to say that the matter arising was the job performance appraisal positive for our CAO for the last year's work. Congratulations, and thank you very much for your work over the year, Laura. Okay. And only that matter that we went into closed session was the only one discussed. Comment period. A little different on our agenda for some of the audience that's out there. We've had this for about 6 months. Is there anyone that would like to make a comment on anything on the agenda for this evening? Seeing none? Okay, we'll move on. Public meetings, there are none. Consent agenda. We have a motion moved by Doug Hutchison, seconded by Rob Thompson. Be it resolved that items A1 to B1 inclusive contained in Part 1 consent agenda be adopted as printed. And further, that authorization be given for the actions to be taken as may be necessary to give effect to the recommendations contained therein. Any comments on the motion? Call the question. All those in favour? Any opposed? That's carried. All right, there you are, Mark. I ask you to hand out those motions to take effect. Communications from Mayor and Council. And I'll start with Council members. Any communications that anybody would like to make comment on? Councillor Herget. Rebecca, please.
So this last weekend we had the tree lighting in Ayton, and that was well attended. The Holstein Bells and the Queen's Bush Chorus came out and sang, and the Ayton seniors were able to dip up some chili, and Mrs. Jacobs was the chili winner. It was a really fantastic turnout. Friday night I was able to attend the Grey Bruce Singers, and there's so much talent in Hanover and beyond its borders as well. This Friday night, there's the Norman B. Plowman's Association dinner, and if you need tickets, last I checked, there were still some available. We also have a list of all the upcoming Christmas events and tree lightings, so please make sure that you consult our website for the dates and the times, and we'd love to have everyone come out and attend. Now, the rest of this, I would like to thank everyone for their mentorship, leadership, opportunity that was allowed to me. I really do thank you for your service. So many years and so many great stories and wonderful displays of your dedication to our community. So thank you very much for all the councillors that are not returning, and Mayor and Deputy Mayor. Thank you very much for your service. It really is wonderful how much you've done for the community, and thank you very much.
Rebecca, anyone else? Doug? Councillor Hutchison.
Sure. Just a couple of items that took place last week. There was a new council orientation at the Egremont Optimist Centre, so we got a chance to meet some of the new councillors coming in and work with them. Also on Friday evening last week, had a chance to volunteer at the Newstead Arena for roller skating, and that was an interesting event. It's something that's been going on there for quite some time, and it's amazing the number of people come out, and particularly children, which was great to see a number of children out there skating and exercising instead of playing at home on their video games and so on. So I was really pleased to see that, and it was it's one of those things that Newstead does at their complex there, the arena, and they also have ball hockey. Lacrosse is going to use the facilities now. The Lions Club does a lot of work, and there's pickleball, a quite active pickleball group down there. So it's I'd like to congratulate the Newstead Rec Committee for all the work they do to keep that facility running, and it's just one of the many that we have in West Grey. that are getting lots of use. So congratulations to them. And I too would like to congratulate the outgoing council members. At one point, I was tallying up the number of years of service that these people have put up, and I ran out of fingers and toes, and I know it's a lot of years, so I just left it at that. But I do like to congratulate you people for all your efforts. Being on council for one term, I know the commitment that it's taken over the years to do the job. So congratulations, and thank you very much on behalf of myself and all of West Grey.
Anyone else? When you're saying that about the lacrosse, it was presented, as you know, this is the first year that we've had the West Grey Lacrosse Association, and they were very thankful. They had a very successful year, just about as successful, maybe more successful even than the Las Vegas Knights, because they did win a championship, incredibly. One of the teams in their first year. Excuse me. So they've given us, hopefully we can find a place to put this in the, either in the arenas or here in the office. And it just was a thank you, big thank you to the support of our local municipality for making West Grey Lacrosse a success for 2018. We can now compete with the zone for rep teams into 2019. Go Rampage. Okay, fine. Sincerely, Kara and Adam Kroll, who were instrumental in the executive president and getting that all going, and on the rest of the executive. So I'll leave that for Madam CEO to find a appropriate place for that. And just one other thing, I gave one of these pictures to one of the participants that's still sitting at this council table, and another one that has joined us this evening. I have a picture. I was doing a little bit of cleanup in my office, and my office is very clean. I don't know where this must have fallen through a crack, because there's very little paper in there. It's a picture of myself, at the time, Councillor John S. Black, and I believe at the time, was Councillor Carol Lawrence, or were you your deputy mayor? That was deputy mayor. I don't have a date on this to be able to tell for sure. No, well, it wouldn't have been Reeve if I was in the picture participating. So, yeah, same thing. But it was participation back early when the Conservation Authority had the councils participate in a number of sporting events at the Saugeen Bluffs Maple Fest. And we are flipping, the picture I have here is Councillor Lawrence flipping pancakes blindfolded over her head, and Councillor Black and myself with sap buckets trying to catch them. For a number of years, the trophy sat there because we were so good that they stopped the competition because we were that much above them. The trophy was here for years. I think a couple of years ago I took it back to the conservation headquarters, and it's there. A lot of good memories, and good to see former Councillor Black out this evening. So thank you very much, and thank you for any of the council members that represented myself at any of the activities over the last 2 weeks, especially Councillor Hergert down at Ayton for the tree lighting, and thank you for mentioning the tree lighting that will be present here over the next week and a half as we do them in Elmwood, Newstead, and Durham coming up, getting ready for that St. Nicholas season. So thank you very much for that. And with that, if there's no other council updates, we have a presentation this evening, and Mark or Brent, can you, or Carrie? I think the group is outside. I don't know all the uniforms. It might scare people that are sitting in the audience if they come in. We have a recognition this evening anyways from the St. John Ambulance in a gold level life-saving award and certificate to one of our West Grey residents for their participation. So they're still waiting for somebody?
Different annual. There was a 7:30 delegation because he isn't here yet.
Okay. Well then, we'll drop down because the delegations are, and there's another, we'll wait for the time, appointed time, because there is a couple of other delegations that we're going to have, so we'll go down before we do some of the presentations, then we'll get into the council portion, starting with Director of Finance. And Carrie, welcome. I believe page 26. And the vouchers, is there any questions on the voucher? Councillor Hutchison. Doug?
Just have to find it here. Just a question, it's page 40, page 13 on carries. There was Newstead, there was a purchase of 120 water meters. Did we replace water meters in Newstead? Is that what that's all about? I'm just, can't remember talking about that, but maybe we did and I missed it.
Yes, Councillor Hutchison, that was acknowledged in the 2018 budget.
That was a
We're
budget.
replacing the meters to drive-bys instead of the manual reads. So we're upgrading those meters. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions on the accounts? Councillor Herget. Rebecca?
Yes, page 39, St. John's ambulance babysitting course. I thought that that was canceled. So before we pay that, could we just double check and to ensure?
The home alone was canceled, but not the babysitting. It went ahead.
Okay, anything else? Then I have a motion moved by John A. Bell, seconded by Rob Thompson. Be it resolved that the Director of Finance Treasurer be authorized to pay the accounts presented as voucher number 21, 2018 in the amount of $450,415.56 of the Municipality of West Grey. Any questions on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
It's the third item, there's a second item.
Yep.
Sure, what the council's direction is going to be.
The next one is on Carrie's report. There's been a request come in for the Durham Art Gallery 2018 grant. Carrie? Anything other than what is there? Just to release the funds?
Yeah, when the Economic Development Committee discussed it, I believe they were considering it as a 2019 budget item instead, or did you look at it as 2018? 19, yeah. So this was a 2018 request. So the Economic Development Committee isn't meeting again this year, I don't think.
No.
So that's why I'm bringing it for the 2018 request here.
Okay, anything from the chair?
Yeah, no, as chair, I guess we discussed it during our budget deliberation on it, and decided at that time we'd send it off from economic development, but for this is 2018. So yeah, so that money was set in 2018 for that.
Okay, so do I hear anything, because it was in the 18 budget? So we've got, that gives clarification. Staff can go ahead and, I think direction is for staff to go ahead and give that. Okay. And the third one is the year-end, 2018 year-end reserves. I'll introduce that motion and then ask for any questions on that. Moved by Bev Cutting, seconded by Carol Lawrence. Be resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby approves the 2018 year-end reserve transfers as follows. The purchase of the side-by-side ATV for police fire be funded from the fire truck reserve. Net of equipment disposal revenues $15,726.72. That the budget amount of $75,000 for the new police station project be transferred to the police station reserve. That any year-end surplus in the streetlight budget be transferred to the general capital reserve to pay back the LED lighting project, and that the year-end roads capital levy budget to actual surplus be transferred to the public works reserve for projects carried over to the 2019 budget year. The auditors like that, don't they, Carrie? Yes. Okay. Any questions on those year-end transfers? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Here we are. Anything else, Carrie?
I do have one other item that I missed on my report, and it was the disposal or potential disposal of obsolete council technology, that being the iPads. Previously, in the 2014 term, council had approved a motion to dispose of the technology to departing council members at no cost. So I'm just looking for a motion to, if you want to continue to support that. If we do, if people can just bring it in next week, leave it with me, and then I can wipe it clean and look after all of that. But just looking for direction from council to authorize that.
So I would think because it's a new item on the agenda, it'll be a direct motion. But if there's any questions of Carrie on that, that's where we would put it. I believe that was in the budgeted item, that the iPads are up for renewal, so that was the idea, that that's where they would go, disposal. Mr. Bell. John?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Kerry, quick question. If this was decided to put these on gov deals, iPads, cell phones, in your estimation, wisdom, and history, what do you think that those potential items would bring on gov deals, and that, recognizing they are they at least four?
Yeah, they're a
4
four-year-old iPad. They were bought in 2014. I would wager probably very little, but if that's the wish of council, we can certainly do that. But
10 or 15 bucks.
I would imagine it's, not overly, we can do some research. But
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Look for a motion then under direct motions. We can do that, Carrie. Thank you. Okay. Anything else, Carrie? No? Very good. Any questions for the director? Then I guess we'll go down to Manager of Parks and Recreation. Oh, there you are, Stephanie. I believe page 49 in the package agenda. It's looking at an installation of an ATM in the Durham Arena. Any further comments from your report, Steph?
Yeah, so like it says, it would be a one-year pilot project. I've spoken to the facility manager of that arena, in addition to the snack bar concession operators. Everyone is in favor of trying it, as they feel it would be beneficial to the arena and the current concession stand and the Blue Line and all of the products that are offered within the arena.
It would have a positive effect for the Durham Thundercats Blue Line Club?
Yeah, and even like skate sharpening and different things as well.
It will be open past 11 o'clock?
The ATM's open 24/7.
Very good. Just for clarification. All right. I have a motion moved by Doug Hutchison and seconded by John A. Bell. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby approves a one-year pilot project for an installation of an ATM machine by ATM Guys at the Durham Arena, subject to a 3-month review after commencement of the pilot project to determine the viability of the ATM machine. Questions? Councillor Herget. Rebecca?
So we have 3 arenas. What is the likelihood of putting this in the other 2 arenas?
I would say after they've tried out the Durham Arena, they would be interested probably in looking at the other ones, although it's all about volume. So for the company, it has to be reciprocal for them, right? They have to be making enough money in order for them to have the machines there, so it would be up to them based on how many people come in and out of the buildings.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions for Stephanie? Call the question, and all those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. Oh, shoot. And I think that's it for Stephanie. Clerk's report. Mark?
So Eliza Vanderhoot, on behalf of Glen Colton Farms and the Friends of Edgehill School, are asking for the municipality to declare the third annual Chris Kindle Market event to be deemed a municipal significant event. It'll be held December 7th and 8th at Parlot 44, Concession 3, EGR, in the former township of Glenelg. So I seek council direction on that. There is a motion moved and seconded, actually.
Okay. Well, I'll put it on the floor, and then if there's any discussion. I have a motion moved by Bev Cutting, seconded by Carol Lawrence. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby declares as a municipal significant event, the third annual Chris Kindle Market event hosted by Friends of Edgehill School in collaboration with Symphony in the Barn and Glen Colton Farms on lands owned by Agriculture Renewal Cooperative, Inc. and described as Part Lot 44, Concession 3, EGR, former Township of Glenelg, 393887, Concession 2. Any further discussion? Councillor Hutchison. Doug?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it, but I just questioned the letter. Third line on the letter, it says the goals of this event have been primarily to raise friends in our community. I think they mean funds rather than raising friends. And they repeat it, the fifth line, it also says, as a result of these efforts to raise friends, we have discovered that Chris Kindle Market is and has a potential raise profile in Durham. So I think the whole thing is about a fundraising. So I think it's just a spell check type error that's come up there. So I don't know if anybody else knows it, but it seemed a little awkward when you read that.
Oh, there's too many lines there. I'm not going on there, Mark. Well noted, Councillor Hutchison. Rebecca.
I do think that this event brings people from all over Ontario to West Grey, and at that rate, I would be supportive. I was just curious if we would also allow Eunice to be able to put that on the sign and so on before the event happens.
Ask you, Madam CEO. I don't see a problem with it.
Thank you, Mayor Eccles. This is a community event, so we would be able to post it on our digital sign, help promote it.
Yeah. In conjunction with other ones that we've done as well. Okay. Any further questions? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Thank you, Mark. How many bylaws we got there? 4?
5.
Oh, sorry, 5. We got 7 minutes before the delegations. Does council feel good about these? Most of them are just recommendations from Committee of the Whole Planning. Let's go in and do bylaws and hand them out.
We'll have amendments to the...
Yeah. Yeah. I think we had it. Yeah, we did recognize that. Okay. We do have 5 bylaws. Where's the 5th one?
I did have as amended, so...
Yeah. 23, 24, 26, 27 is just the confirming. Okay. The first bylaw is from Committee of Adjustment. Recommended for approval, moved by Doug Hutchison, seconded by John A. Bell. Be it resolved that bylaw number 123, 2018, being a bylaw to appoint members of the Municipality of West Grey Committee of Adjustment, repeals bylaw number 107, 2017, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the Mayor and the Clerk, sealed with the seal of the Corporation, be engrossed in the bylaw book. Any questions or comments on this one? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Thank you, Bev.
This one was amended to add the mini zone at the request of the Conservation Committee.
Okay, bylaw number 124 comes from Committee of the Whole, recommend. There was a slight amendment to recognize the NE zone, Conservation Authority. Remember that one? So it's moved by R. Herget, seconded by Carol Lawrence. Be it resolved that bylaw number 124, 2018, being a bylaw to rezone the subject lands described as Part Lot 2, Lot 3, Concession 15, Geographic Township of Ganaug, Murray, ZA 1618, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed as amended and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Any comments on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Thank you. That is carried. Bylaw number 125 is bylaw on the Carnegie Library. I have a motion moved by Rob Thompson, seconded by Doug Hutchison. Be it resolved that bylaw 125, 2018, being a bylaw to designate the lands and buildings at 240 Garifraxa Street North, Durham Carnegie Free Library, Geographic Town of Durham, to be of cultural heritage value or interest, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed as amended and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Mark, you have a comment, please.
Inform council that Schedule B to the bylaw has to be amended somewhat. The section that speaks to the design or physical value, that section should be deleted. It's not relevant to the bylaw.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the portion that's being deleted in what we have further. Okay, anything else? Councillor Herget. Rebecca?
Mark, I do appreciate that you have the municipal address in this, and I just hope that we could continue that.
In further bylaws on planning, zoning? Okay. Yep. Very good. Any other questions? All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. Yeah. All right. Have a motion moved by Herget, seconded by Carol Lawrence. Be it resolved that bylaw number 126, 2018, being a bylaw to rezone the subject lands described as Part Lot 1, Concession 13, RP 16, R 6835, Part 1, Geographic Village of Newstead, Morley, ZA 1118, OP number 17, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and the said bylaw be signed with the mayor and the clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Mark? Comments?
So back on September 17th, council adopted the official plan amendment for West Gray for Mr. Morley. That official plan adoption does require approval by the Gray County, so it was delayed until the county approval was received, and the county did in fact approve the official plan amendment on November 15th, and that means that council can now deal with the zoning bylaw amendment.
Very good. Thanks, Mark. Clarification. Any other comments on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. And bylaw 127 is a confirming bylaw for actions moved by Bev Cutting, second by R. Herget. Be it resolved that bylaw number 127, 2018, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the November 19, 2018 council meeting, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Any questions on this motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. There you are, Mark. That's it for bylaws. All right. I love being efficient. Do we have the first delegation and presentation, Mark? Because we're now 7:31.
sure who's taking all the initiative here, but
I was hoping it was going to be Mr. Martin. Was his request, so. Okay. Got everybody in? I guess it's a public safety announcement. Exits are over behind Tom there. Here, doors are here as well too. Don't usually have the honor of having so many people in the council chambers. But the first presentation is pretty important, and I'm going to turn it over to Chief Martin or Constable Meyer. Ben? Do you want to use the podium so that Adam can get it? Stephanie? Can you? There we are. And the floor is yours.
All right.
Constable Meyer, go ahead, Ben.
So I welcome everybody, and I'd like to call up from St. John's Ambulance, Tony. He will be doing our life-saving ward presentation tonight, and he will give a rundown of the life-saving award and why it's being dedicated. And our guest of honor is, the award recipient is Daniel Andres. And Daniel, if you just acknowledge yourself. And that's Daniel there. Okay, Tony.
Thank you, Ben. Mr. Mayor, members of council, honored guests, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity this evening to come into your municipality and recognize one of your citizens. Halloween of 2017 was a cold, damp, and dull day. Daniel Andres, a family friend of Dr. Susan and Doug Barn, all were taking a UTV ride on the couple's property in rural Grey County. As they rode throughout the property with the family dog running alongside, they approached a small pond. As they traveled on the narrow trail beside the pond, the soft edge gave way, pulling the UTV into the pond. Daniel, who had been in the back of the vehicle, was able to jump clear. However, the UTV rolled, trapping his friends Doug within the roll cage and Susan below the waterline. Daniel worked in the frigid water of that pond and was able to free both. Noticing that Susan was not breathing, Daniel performed CPR. She brought up water, began coughing and breathing on her own. Both Doug and Susan were in the state of shock and were hypothermic. Daniel's efforts were not yet done. With no cell phone at the scene and the UTV in the pond, Daniel ran back to the house to call 911. After another run to get the fire number at the end of the laneway, help was finally on the way. Daniel provided life-saving first aid when it was most needed, and without his first aid knowledge, actions taken on that fateful Halloween of 2017, his friends surely would not have survived. It is my honor, on behalf of the St. John Ambulance and the Priory of Canada, to recognize Mr. Daniel Andres with a Gold Life-Saving Award. Daniel. Thank you very much. Certificate and a little power pin that goes with it. Oh, wow. Cool. Thank you. Turn it, Smith, in front. Is it wood out front for a picture? Okay.
On behalf of the council, of West Grey. Very honored that you're here receiving this award tonight, but it brings that not only is it a great place to live, work in rural Ontario, but it's, Susan and Doug, I think you'll say, it's just absolutely wonderful to have friends. Have you adopted him as a son yet, or? Yeah, okay. And again, congratulations and a great honor and privilege, sir, for you to do this for our community. And I see a couple of other, Wayne, the Deputy Chief of the Elmwood Fire, is here as well. So again, congratulations and thank you for being a great citizen of West Grey, which maybe Susan and Doug have thanked you a few times since as well too, but only be thankful for especially Susan. So yes, wonderful for you to be here tonight, and again, as I say, thank you for being a great part of West Grey, and congratulations on the recognition. Great. Okay. Oh, there's all kinds of good things. You don't have to leave. Yeah, there's food outside, yeah. Oh, that's what you figured. You would get the first chance at it. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, sorry. I don't know who that guy is, yeah. See whether our next delegation is here. It's Lee Hilliard. And I know he's not, she is not in the audience. There she comes. Yep. Yeah, if you could come around this way, Lee, and we would like your presentation from the podium, please. Hey, Bobby.
Pardon?
Okay. Delegation, welcome this evening, Ms. Hilliard, and here to make a presentation on a building issue, zoning issue.
Yes.
The floor is yours.
Okay. Well, thank you for letting us talk to you tonight. We're here to discuss a letter that we received from Jennifer Watson stating that we need to remove our trailer, decks, and shed from our property on Baptist Church Road. We've owned the property since May 20th of 2010, and at that time I was at this building and spoke to the bylaw enforcement officer, and he asked us what we intended to do with the property. I pointed out to him that, or he pointed out to me that we would not be able to build there. I told him that we knew that we couldn't build there and we had no intentions of building. We were going to use the property as recreational to bring our trailer to. And I asked him at that time why our taxes were residential taxes, and he stated that there was no recreational tax bracket. And if he had an issue with our trailer, he would let us know. He would put a pink sticker on it. We heard nothing until this past summer when I was contacted by Matt Armstrong of Saugeen Conservation Authority. He stated that he had received a complaint and he set up an appointment to come and meet us on July the 5th. On July the 4th, Jennifer Watson, the bylaw enforcement officer, came to the door and stated that she had received notice from Saugeen Conservation and stated that she didn't want us to have to remove our trailer or our decks. Our deck was of a size that we would be required to pay a permit fee, but not to worry about anything until we spoke with Saugeen first, because Saugeen would let us know whether or not we were able to keep the trailer there. She stated that we would have to get a permit, and in order to get the permit, we had to have a municipal address, driveway, and be on a year-round road, which we are. I asked her that day why a permit fee when we pay residential taxes, and she said we would have to discuss that with this office. She also stated that everybody would want to work with us so that we would be able to continue having our trailer there, and nothing was said about zoning at that time. On July the 5th, Matt Armstrong came, took notes, measurements, and pictures. He also stated that they wanted to work with us to let us be able to keep our trailer. We heard from Matt on September the 10th stating that since the trailer is on wheels, it is exempt and can stay on our property. They wanted us to reduce the size of our deck. We had a 16 by 16 and a 10 by 32. He asked us if we would be willing to remove the 16 by 16 deck, which we have done, and we have made the 10 by 32 into two 10 by 10 decks and taken a centerpiece away. I called Jennifer Watson and stated again that what Matt had told us, that we could keep the trailer there, and she stated that we would have to get the permit. And again, I asked her why residential taxes and a permit fee. She told us to contact this office. I was put through to Mark Turner. Mark said that he wouldn't even allow us to buy a permit because of zoning on the property, which is natural environment. We were never informed of this before, and the permit fees were implemented in 2016, that if you wanted to have a trailer on property, that you had to pay $1,000. We've been on the property since 2010. We've always been taxed as residential. We don't know why we're having these issues now, and why we are now being told that we cannot even purchase a permit. We just go there on long weekends with our children. We have special needs children, so it's hard for us to go to like trailer parks and stuff, and that's why we had originally bought the property, was to be able to go there and have a place for ourselves and our kids. We have seen, since this has all come about, that there are a lot of trailers along the Saugeen River, and that there's also permanent houses and cottages. And we don't know what zoning those people have. We presume that they're in natural environment as well. We have seen that there is a lot of special designations that people can use them as recreational property. So we're asking at this time if ours could be put into a special designation. I did pull off the bylaw from 2016, and the only thing that it says, there's exemptions that if you're in agriculture land, that you didn't have to buy permits. There's nothing in that agreement stating that if you are a natural environment, that you can't purchase a permit.
Yeah, I did speak to Ms. Hilliard a week or so ago before the delegation was made. That's my recollection. Ms. Hilliard also mentioned that she had spoken to me back in, I believe, July about the same matter. And I'd indicated that I'd said that if the Conservation Authority is okay with it, then trailer is fine.
As long as we met the other requirements, that we had the municipal number, we were on an open road, and we had a driveway.
So just for council's information, I have a standard response when I am dealing with any structure or building that is contemplated in the natural environment zone. What I will say to the individual is that it is not permitted in the zoning bylaw. However, if you go to the Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority, and if they are willing to remove a portion of the NE zone so that a trailer or a house or a shed, whatever the case may be, could be placed outside of the NE zone in an area that's redesignated or determined by the Conservation Authority, usually after a site visit, that in fact the whole property or a portion of the property is outside the NE zone, then it may be permitted. I certainly do not say that a trailer would be permitted on an area, on a property that's totally, entirely any zone, which this property is.
And I spoke with Matt Armstrong again after our conversation on the phone, and he said that it is up to the municipality of West Grey to do the zoning, that Saugeen does not do that.
Yes, and I did speak to Mr. Armstrong too after that letter, and he did agree that certainly it's incumbent upon the municipality to determine the zoning through their zoning bylaw requirements. He did express his regret that they had said that it was okay on the Conservation Authority's end, and I think it would be incumbent upon perhaps either a current or a future Saugeen Valley Conservation appointed board of director from this municipality to ask the Conservation Authority why they're saying it's okay to put a building or structure in the NE zone, which in itself creates issues, certainly liability issues. In the municipality, we're all about trying to limit our liability because this society is very much prone to lawsuits, and asking for any type of structure in the NE zone is a cause for concern.
And Mr. Armstrong said that our trailer would be exempt from being on the property because it is on wheels. And now we were told by Mr. Turner, whenever I said, okay, if we take off our recreational trailer that we have there now, would we even be able to go back in with a fifth wheel that we had before? And I was told no. So if you see fit that we cannot get a special designation and be able to pay a permit fee, which we are taking liability for our own trailer to be there, we have insurance, and it becomes then that if we can't even take a fifth wheel in there, what does this property become to us? It becomes nothing. We're paying residential taxes. I was told by the bylaw enforcement officer, Jennifer Watson, that she would work with us on this. I just fully don't understand. And she also told us that if Saugeen was okay with the trailer, then we would just have to do the permit. So she left out about the zoning that day. She should have known the zoning before she ever came to our property. If that was the case, then why did Matt come? And why did we jump through hoops, changing our decking and doing everything that Saugeen asked us to do? And that's what Jennifer had told us that day, was to do what Saugeen wanted us to do and then contact her back and then go from there about the permits.
Mark, further?
And just for clarification, I would suspect, and I could get that confirmed by our treasurer or tax collector, that I'm assuming the property is taxed as vacant land.
Residential. It's residential, and whenever I phoned Impact today, and Impact told me that it is classified in their books as residential vacant land.
As vacant residential land, yes. And there's also
nothing to do with natural environment.
And there's also a shed on the property that is also not permitted in the NE zone. That was not, a permit was not issued for.
And it's under an 8x10.
And even under 100 square feet, you're required to meet the requirements of the zoning bylaw. Since it's in the natural environment zone, it's not permitted.
So I don't have a problem. If you want me to remove the shed, I'll remove the shed. We've already made the deck smaller. We would like to be able to still use our property for something. Otherwise, like I said, it becomes useless to anybody for anything. We've been there for 8 years. It's just property that we go to on our own with our special needs children, because we cannot be in a trailer park where it's going to be too much for her to handle. That's why we bought the property to begin with. We never wanted to build on it. We never approached anybody to see. We were told whenever we first bought the property that if we wanted to try to get a building permit for it, we would have to go through Saugeen. But we didn't want to build. Our trailer is on wheels. We own a trucking company. We do have vehicles that we can get the trailer off if the property is going to flood. We went through all of this with Saugeen, and Saugeen said that they were fine with us having it there. They have exempted it.
Comment, Councillor Hergen.
So there's a few details that I guess I'd like to clarify. Carrie, could you look up if it was zoned for residential vacant?
It's not a zoning, it's
your
property
taxation.
assessment,
Yes,
and it would be residential is the class. The value of the assessment will be vacant, it won't have structures. associated with the value of the assessment.
Even the building that's existing there, there's no assessment
If
on
it's,
that?
I don't think there's.
It's not permitted, so it wouldn't. Right, okay. So, next would be, do you have an entrance permit into the property now with a proper driveway?
There was a driveway into it when we purchased it.
Okay, and it's got the fire number?
Yes, it does.
Okay, great. So I guess I would like to see if we could bring this up at a committee of the whole planning meeting and get a few more details from Saugeen Valley about their letters and so on that they've sent, the correspondence back and forth, I think, before we make any decision.
Now, also, sorry, also.
I think
when we
it's very
purchased-
clear, if I could.
Yes, sorry.
I think it's very clear in the Conservation Authority, they do not make comments on municipal zoning issues. They're, from being on that board for a number of years, I'm a little disappointed in Mr. Armstrong making any comment on West Gray's zoning. We don't require them. We ask them to stay out of trying to interpret our zoning bylaws.
And that's
So
what he-
that's the first thing that
And that's
needs
what
to
he
be
told me the
resolved.
other day whenever I called him and said that Mark had told me to call and say, could it be rezoned just where the trailer is sitting? And Matt told me that that is not up to Saugeen, that is up to this council.
Well, it's up to Saugeen to figure out where that natural environment zone, the line is. But it's got to be a zoning application. And as long as they've put that line in there, it would be a zoning application, is it to be changed? That would be up to the conservation of where the line is. What's contained within or out of that is up to West Gray. So I guess what I'm saying, I'm a little disappointed with Saugeen in trying to go back and interpret our zoning bylaws. Ms. Hergert probably has the best thing, that it come to a planning committee, that it's been a committee of the whole for the West Gray Council to be resolved, or further of what can happen. The trailer issue is, that's where we get into the problem with the bylaw on trailers on properties that people are using, your long weekends, whatever it is, but we have some of them out there that's vacant residential, that's what they're being. The trailer is probably worth $300,000 or $400,000. Yeah, it may have wheels on it, but that was what the bylaw was put in, was that you're using as a recreational and paying vacant residential, taking advantage of everything that's there.
And we didn't know that had even, that
Yeah.
bylaw had even been passed. We didn't get anything in our taxes stating that anything had been changed and that we needed to get this permit. We didn't know anything, we didn't know that we were doing anything wrong on our property until this all come about this summer.
And that's, and I'm fair with that, that it's a learning process as we go forward. There's police officers that tell me that I should have known that that was a speed limit there too, but I didn't know that they changed it.
Right, and when we
Doesn't use it as an excuse, it's never taken by the officer.
When we purchased the property, the survey that we were given, and it's actually registered here at the municipal office, that property had actually been rezoned, that there was 16 building lots on it. And we were told at that time as well, that survey is not any good, that you cannot do that. And we said, we know that, we don't want 16 building lots. We wanted the 8.5 acres for ourselves as one piece of property.
So it was do you want to comment, Mr. Bill?
I just want to make sure we know where just for clarification again, the property, it's south of the Glenelg sheds on the south side of the river, on the west side of the road,
Yes,
right next to the river.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, we own river frontage.
Is
Yep.
it all natural environment?
It says on Saugeen's and on your website as well, it is all designated natural
The
environment.
whole thing?
The
Okay.
whole thing.
So there's no building envelope there?
And we don't want to build, we just want to be able to take our
but
trailer and
even-
our kids.
Even to put your trailer up higher? Okay, thank you.
But I think that the biggest thing is to be able to get through to the conservation. Is there a spot to have that trailer that is safe?
And they
And that-
said to us, as long as it's on wheels and that we know that if there's going to be a flood, that we can get it out, and we can.
If you're only there on long weekends,
We actually live in Mount Forest, we're 15 minutes away. And we know the people that live right next door. Reeveses, is it, Stephen? Yeah, the Reeveses live next door, and my husband actually hauls out of their pit, and he would let us know if the river was coming up.
I guess the biggest, I think there can be a resolve, but it's got to go through, that there is a place for the trailer, and that's going to need a bit of zoning. Going back to what Councillor Hergert said, I think there needs to be an application put in.
Okay.
I would recommend that council look at it favorably, but
Okay.
that's from somebody that's going out the door, so you got to convince the other council.
Okay, so you're saying an application to be put in? You're saying there's an application to be put in? Is that something that we need to fill out and submit to you
Yes.
then?
Yeah,
Okay,
that would be put in.
okay,
So, as I said, I think once everybody gets a better handle on who's doing what here and who's responsible for what, it would have merit to be put in the application.
okay.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Unless there's anything else. Thank you very much, Lee. And good luck.
Okay, and I just get the application at the front office, is that correct?
Or online, Mark. Go ahead.
Yes, certainly. It's a zoning bylaw amendment application is available at the office or on the West Grey website. I will caution you, however, that fee is $1,230 currently, and if it's not granted, it's not refundable.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Lee. Is Donna here? Can't see her for... You're back there. Ms. Clark, we have one more delegation before we get to the presentations. Donna Clark's here representing the Durham Presbyterian Church, I believe, requesting use of the Vickers Elvidge Park. Donna, you want to give us a bit of a summary on what you're looking for? Ms. Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am representing the Durham Presbyterian Church and extended to the Durham Ministerial Association. We would like to use the facilities, the town hall, the park behind the town hall, and Vickers Park area on Friday, December the 7th for an event called Come to Bethlehem. We would invite the whole community to participate. At the beginning, the Roman soldiers divide them into groups, and they will be toured through the area on the way to Bethlehem. They will visit with the shepherds, they will visit with the wise men, they will visit at the stable. Then we all eat and drink in the town hall. It would be starting about 7 in the evening, probably run till 10-ish, for a family event to celebrate the season.
Short, sweet comments. Councillor Hergert. Rebecca?
Thank you for your presentation. I was curious, is there one bottle of wine that multiplies? I'm just teasing.
No.
Okay. Actually, I do have a question, though. In our package, it said Vickers and Elvidge Park, but it didn't mention Town Hall, and you mentioned Town Hall. So you're hoping to use the inside of Town Hall?
Yes, we've rented the town hall. We're not using the Elvidge Park because it was too difficult to access.
Okay, so Vickers...
We would have liked to use that, but I understand the catwalk leading from Main Street down to Elvidge Park is a private.
Correct.
So we lost that part of the plan. So we would start at the town hall, go up Queen Street to Vickers Park, and then back along Queen Street to the town hall.
Has this been an event that the group has done previously around the municipality?
Yes, the Presbyterian Church started it 5 years ago, and it was at at our church with the area around the church, you know, around the block, to visit the different vignettes. Then we'd had it at the Ball Diamond on a very, very cold night. And it was, we couldn't even keep the hot chocolate warm. But we had 100 people. The next time we did it, it was down at, I want to say New Tribes, but it's really Ethnos now, I should call it that. And that was again well received. And last year we had it back at the Presbyterian Church and the, you know, the surrounding residences there. So this year we would like to have it here, not here, at the town hall. I have already rented the town hall.
Yeah.
And I thought, being it's the church, I thought we should probably ask permission instead of forgiveness later.
That's what Presbyterians are about, isn't it? Forgiveness.
Decently and in good order.
Wait a minute. Okay. Any other questions of Donna? I do have a motion. Sorry, Doug, go ahead. Councillor Hutchison.
Just wanted to make comment. Don had called me regarding this, and I suggested she bring it to council. My only concern was using Queen Street and walking on the street, and I don't know, Donna mentioned that they were going to try to stay on the sidewalk. I don't know if there's any way that we could close the street temporarily, being it is a one-way, low-traffic type street, whether that would help in this activity.
We have Roman soldiers who could do crowd traffic control.
So
I'm gonna look towards the Public Works Director.
Okay.
Will Lambton Street be open so that anybody can even access Queen?
Hopefully.
Well, I walked around the sidewalk over the bridge,
Yes.
No.
and that's all the, you know, the room we need.
It'll be done.
Yeah.
There may not be vehicular traffic down Lambton Street.
We
by
hope.
the
We hope
meeting.
before then it will be. That's the 7th, you said, right?
Yes, the 7th.
We're hoping before the 7th, right, Mr. Director? Thank you.
Just keep nodding yes, Brent, not enough.
But we have groups of about 12 people going at one time, and we do have several soldiers who could be stationed down at the bridge just to make sure that all traffic stops for the pedestrians.
You said you had, you're going to have wise men. Are you auditioning, or could you find some wise men here?
We'll likely put out an audition notice.
Thank you. I do have a motion in front of me to move this along. It's moved by John A. Bell and seconded by Rob Thompson. Be resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby approves the request by Donna Clark to use Vickers Park in Durham in connection with the multi-church Going to Bethlehem event held on December 7th, 2018.
Yeah. And it's at the town hall, so we would be using the playground behind the town hall. That kind of goes with the town hall, doesn't it?
That goes with the
town hall.
Goes with the rental. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. No. Okay. Questions on the motion?
Not a
Rebecca?
question, just a comment. The police work out of there too, so just making sure traffic is clear for the police would be important as well, okay?
Yes.
Very good. And I think they'll connect with that. Any other questions on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Can I say one more thing?
There's the approval. Any
Thank you
last
very much.
words, Ms. Clark?
Everyone is invited.
And
the
bit
food
of free
is
advertising out there, Adam? You've got all of that recorded?
the food is always delicious, and we never run out. And the tour guides are well informed, and the soldiers will be there to keep control of the crowd. So 7 o'clock on December the 7th, meet at the front of the town hall.
Very good.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Donna. All right. We're a little bit ahead of time, Mark, but do you want to, I think we're fine. People have been waiting patiently for some presentation, so I'm going to turn it over to the clerk.
With some assistance from the CEO. So this is a bittersweet moment as we as staff and remaining council members say goodbye to 5 long-serving council members who we have developed both a professional and personal relationship with through the years, some of us back to the creation of the Township of West Grey, now Municipality of West Grey, and even prior to amalgamation, while at the same time we as staff and the remaining council members look forward to developing those same professional and personal connections with incoming council members. The outgoing council members have faithfully served the West Grey electorate, always having in mind what is best as a whole for the West Grey community. These members have sacrificed their personal and family time and have utilized their giftings and talents for the betterment of West Grey. I want to also thank the spouses of the outgoing council members for the sacrifices they have made to enable their spouses to serve in their capacity as council members, knowing how many meetings there are throughout these years and even decades. On a more personal note, I want to thank council for the hand of grace and compassion extended to me while dealing with a personal struggle this year. I will be forever grateful for your understanding and accommodation made during this time. I have the privilege of presenting a plaque on behalf of West Grey to outgoing council members and presenting certificates from Larry Miller, MPP, Bruce Grey Owen Sound, and Bill Walker, MPP, Bruce Grey Owen Sound. Did I say MPP, Larry Miller? MP, Larry Miller, Bruce Grey Owen Sound, and Bill Walker, MPP, Bruce Grey Owen Sound, in appreciation for your dedicated service to the municipality. An opportunity will be provided to each outgoing council member to provide some personal comments after being presented their plaque and certificates. And to start with, I do have certificates again from MP Miller and MPP Walker, as well as a plaque starting with Councillor Rob Thompson. And the plaque reads, West Grey in recognition and appreciation for dedication and commitment to community building, Rob Thompson, 2010 to 2018. And I'll have the CEO present those to you, Councillor Thompson. Sorry, and I should have read this statement first, so I'll do that before you have any personal comments. We'll have an opportunity when everyone's presented to maybe get some pictures, either collectively or individually as well. And of course, we'll have a time of refreshments afterwards. But in terms of Councillor Thompson has served 2 terms as councillor, and among other things, provided his expertise regarding policing and bylaw enforcement matters for the benefit of council and staff, having 33 years of policing experience. Councillor Thompson is married to Marilyn, and they have a daughter, Melissa. Councillor Thompson is an avid hunter and enjoys his time at the trailer at Sauble Beach that he will now be able to enjoy to the fullest without meetings interrupting these pursuits. Thank you, Councillor Thompson, for your service to the municipality.
Thank you. I was planning on this. Yeah. No, it's been an honor and a pleasure. It's an eye-opener for myself after serving in West Grey and Durham prior. Just the other day I was sitting here thinking about it, and in all I have 47 years serving Durham and West Grey. Started off at the local Texaco garage in town, Neff's Garage, and 3 years on the fire department under Chief Pust and Deputy Chief Kennedy, who's in the audience here. It was an honor and a pleasure. Those 3 years I spent there and then switched over to policing. And from there I came to, thought, well, council would be a nice venue, and it was an honor to serve the people of West Grey, and I really enjoyed it. I decided 2 years ago that maybe act like the President of the United States and just stay for the 2 terms, and that would be enough for me. So anyways, it's been an honor, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. I really enjoyed serving on the 3 homecoming committees as a council rep, Ayton, Normanby, Elmwoods, and Durham's homecoming. It was a very enjoyable time, and got to meet a lot of nice people. And anyways, I'm not going to say I'm not going to miss this. I have put in for an application to stay on the Durham Cemetery Board, and hopefully I can do that for another 4 years. And so that's my wish. Thank you.
And next is Councillor Cutting. Councillor Cutting has served as a councillor since the Township of Westgrade's creation in the year 2000. 24 years in total when including her time as a councillor for the former Township of Glenelg. Councillor Cutting is married to Rick, and they have 2 daughters, Shauna, who was married earlier this year, and Jessica. As a small business owner of a property management landscaping company, Councillor Cutting has a good pulse on the small business community issues, and her landscaping and her management experience and landscaping experience was invaluable in her role as a Parks and Recreation Committee member. Councillor Cutting also provided expertise in policing matters as a long-time Westgrade Police Services Committee member. Bev, I'm sure you're looking forward to spending more time with your family, including at your summer retreat at Carson's Camp at Sauble Beach. Congratulations to Councillor Cutting, and the CEO will present these certificates and the plaque from Westgrade again in recognition of your appreciation and dedication and commitment to community building 2000 to 2018. Speech.
Carol just said I should have made it 25. That means I'd have to run again. I just want to say it's been a real learning experience. Even for 24 years, you're still learning. It is something that I have treasured doing. It has certainly been very interesting. I can't say I've enjoyed it all the time, Rob, but it's certainly been something that I dedicated myself to, and I'm very glad I did. I thank the residents for supporting me for all those years, constantly putting me back in, and I tried my very best to always see the side that the residents saw, not my opinion, but their opinion. In my case, it was definitely trying to keep Westgrade the best that it could possibly be and grow to be the best community that it could be. I'm very thankful, John, that you're here, because I started council with John many years ago on just Glenelg. And Ken, you were with me in Glenelg, and that was really nice that you came out. Thank you. I really must say that I've had a lot of years on the Police Services Board, and I count that as one of my largest and most, I guess, accomplished things that we did as far as setting up the Westgrade Police. I was on the original committee that looked into whether we should have OPP or have Hanover police us, or whether we should go with our own municipal service. And I am so proud of the fact that we have a municipal service and that we continue to support it, and it has been a wonderful thing for this community, and I hope that continues. My biggest disappointment, I think, is the fact that the Parks Committee has been disbanded, and the 4 absolutely incredible volunteers that were on that committee are no longer on the committee, and they have put thousands of hours of volunteer time in, and I'm really a little concerned that it's not going to be replicated, but things change, and hopefully the new council will see fit to keep it working. So, thank you.
And now for the new kid on the block, Councillor Lawrence. Councillor Lawrence is Westgrade's version of Hazel McCallion, to have served for 36 years as the mayor of Mississauga. As Councillor Lawrence has served over 4 decades, 42 years in total, for the town of Durham and the municipality of West Grey councils, including serving a term as school board trustee on the Grey County Board of Education. Councillor Lawrence was elected to Durham Town Council in 1976 and has served through the years as both a councillor and deputy mayor for Durham and West Grey. Councillor Lawrence is rightfully proud of the time she served as building chair of Rockwood Terrace and Grey Gables, and as the building committee member for renovations to the Grey Owen Lodge, Lee Manor, and building of the Grey Bruce Health Unit headquarters, as well as serving as county chair of what is now known as long-term care. Councillor Lawrence is married to Jack and has a son, Jason, and 2 daughters, Cheryl and Tanya, as well as 6 grandsons and 1 granddaughter who she cherishes very much. And Mayor Eccles does have a letter he will read from MP Larry Miller.
Thank you, Mark. And this, as Mark has said, is greetings to Carol Lawrence, 42 years on council, from Larry Miller, MP. Good evening, everyone, and I'd like to start by thanking Mayor Eccles for reading these remarks on my behalf. Larry brings us regrets that he couldn't fly in. I guess the Saugeen Airport wasn't open tonight for him to get here from Ottawa. I would have loved to have been here tonight to recognize an outstanding woman for an outstanding career in public service. Carol Lawrence is a staple in this community, as I am sure you will hear throughout the evening. Her career in service to her community began in 1976 when she was first elected in Durham. Since then, she has won 14 different elections, served along 6 different mayors, and has held positions such as Grey County Councillor, Reeve, Deputy Mayor, and School Board Trustee. There are not many resumes that are as impressive as Carol's. Carol has served in each of her positions with determination, transparency, compassion, and, most of all, a commitment to make her community better. During my time as a Member of Parliament for Bruce Grey Owen Sound, I've had the opportunity to work with Carol on a number of projects and initiatives. It has truly been a pleasure to work alongside her for the betterment of West Grey. I will always view Carol as a fearless and dedicated community advocate. She is much more than a counterpart and a colleague. She is most certainly a friend. Carol, thank you for 42 dedicated years of service. Enjoy your retirement, put your feet up, spend time with your daughters and son and your grandchildren. You can rest assured that West Grey is a much better place because of your service. Thank you, Larry Miller.
And again, Councillor Lawrence, we do have certificates from MPP Walker and MP Miller, and we do have the plaque, again, in recognition of and appreciation for your dedication and commitment to community building 2001-2018. And thank you again, Carol.
Well, thank you very much. Wow. Well, it's been a pleasure, long time, more than half my life, actually. And I just want to say it was a privilege and an honor to serve the people of Durham for 42 years, West Grey for 18. And I see so many of my friends here tonight, and thank you for coming. Bob Pringle, where did he go? West Warden, there is Bob. I worked closely with when we were building the health unit, or the Board of Health building. And how is that building? And my good friend Bill Murdoch, thank you for being here. Sat with Bill in County in Al Barfoot. Not as many years as I sat with Bill, quite, but they were all good. Sat with all 3 of you gentlemen. Thank you for coming. And my friend John Chapman back there, who we made many trips to Markdale when we were on the Board of Ed. And that was quite a 6 years, John. And then my good friend Chris, who I've always, and Kevin, my apology, but I always said Chris is the best mayor I ever sat with. Now
I speak after you.
Now, I would place you a close second, but I have to say he certainly was the best mayor I ever sat with. And we came through that flood in Durham in '97, and his dad, Bill, was our emergency measures coordinator, and Ralph was our director of public works, although that wasn't your title quite. So it's just a pleasure to have you here tonight, and Carrie, who is with us, and Dan Sullivan, of course. We had some good years, didn't we, Chris? No, but I do thank the people for their support, as Bev did, over the years. And yes, I did have 14 elections, and I was very, very humbled that I was never defeated. I actually topped the polls when I ran first time in West Grey as councillor, and topped the polls in the last election. So that's a pretty nice way to go out. And I will miss it very much. I certainly never expected to go out in a wheelchair, I'll tell you. But life throws things. I do appreciate the words from Larry. That's very nice, and I thank you all for coming tonight. That's really nice. Some of the things I did, I think they've touched most of them, but I did serve 42 years in Durham. I started at one term as councillor, and I was then Reeve, which then became deputy mayor. Same job, different title. And I was the first and last deputy mayor for Durham, and the first for West Grey, so it's quite an honor to carry. I spent 19 years in county council. I served on 6 wardens committees, and I had many external committees as well as internal. I was 19 years on the Board of Health, which I enjoyed very much. Sat quite a few of those with you, Bob. And it was really good, a real learning experience. I had 6 years as I was appointed the Board of Governors for Georgian College, and the same years I was on the school board, I was on the Board of Governors, and it was a great stepping stone to the students we were working for. I was on there 6 years, 3 years as vice chair of Georgian, and I enjoyed it immensely. And most of my time on county was spent with, it was called Homes for the Aged then, but now long-term care. And as I said, I was building chair for Rockwood and Grey Gables, and on the building committee of Lee Manor when we did the refurb there. And of course on the building committee with Bob on the health unit, and for this office too. And I think one of the achievements that to me was the biggest one was attaining Rockwood for Durham. And I have to say I had wonderful members on my committee. One of the ministry, when we opened it, they called me the mother of Rockwood. So, and John, I saw John, there he is, John S. John, it was a pleasure sitting with you here. You're the best man I ever heard with figures, I'm telling you. I have so enjoyed it. I hate to leave, but it's time. Things move on, and I have to say I enjoyed working with the council this last term. We have a lot done. We leave it in good shape. And I wish everyone good luck with the new council. I hate to leave. I thought I'd just walk into the sunset, not in a wheelchair. Anyway, thank you so much for coming to share it with me.
Deputy Mayor Bell. Deputy Mayor Bell served for 3 terms on council. The first term as a councillor and the last 2 terms as deputy mayor. And of course, as deputy mayor, John also served 2 terms on Grey County Council. Deputy Mayor Bell's experience in agriculture-related matters, heightened by his ownership of an agribusiness, Belgrove Farms, was invaluable, being that West Grey is largely an agricultural community. Deputy Mayor Bell's leadership abilities exhibited while serving as the acting mayor or chair of council and committee of the whole meetings in the absence of the mayor was also much appreciated by staff. Deputy Mayor Bell is married to Leanne and has 3 children, a son Adam and 2 daughters, Alyssa and Dana, and 2 grandchildren. Deputy Mayor Bell is an active member of the Durham Masonic Lodge and the Knox United Church in Durham. And yes, Deputy Mayor Bell also has a trailer at Sauble Beach, which I'm certain he will avail himself of more often post-council. And again, congratulations, Deputy Mayor Bell, and we do have the certificates from MP Miller and MPP Walker, and the plaque from West Grey in recognition of an appreciation for your dedication and commitment to community building 2006 to 2018. Thank you, John.
Thanks very much, Mark. I'll make this short. It's hard following a long-term act like Carol, so we won't be near that long. But I do appreciate working with not only staff here, but I do appreciate working with fellow councillors for that great, shall we say, want to make West Grey better. And I think in the last 12 years, I can say that we have definitely made great strides, and I think we're going to see the fruits of that fruition grow in the next few years also. I would like to say in my first term, I did have the privilege of sitting beside John Black, who was, I'm going to say, a mentor. And John always conducted himself with the utmost class, and I learned from that. In politics, sometimes that's lacking, but I do appreciate John for that. At County Council, excuse me, Mr. Barfoot, Mr. Pringle are here tonight. I appreciated them, knowing them before I even got to County Council, and the great work that they've done on behalf of Grey. But also Councillor Lawrence, who was at Grey County, Mr. Eccles, a number of others in this room, a number of staff who were here before. Great people, and we only have good things to look forward to in West Grey, so thank you.
And last, but certainly not least, Mayor Eccles. It is a testament to Mayor Eccles' leadership abilities and political savvy that he has served on West Grey Council since the Municipality of West Grey's inception, and more particularly, not only 3 terms as Mayor of West Grey, but also having served 3 different terms as the Warden of Grey County, in addition to having served as a member and chair of numerous other committees and boards in both the private and public sectors. I have witnessed through the years Mayor Eccles' commitment to both West Grey and Grey County, and marvel at how he finds time in the day and evening to meet the demands at both the West Grey and county level. In his capacity as mayor, his worship interacts more frequently with staff, including the clerk. And I have benefited from his vast knowledge and connections at the municipal, county, provincial, and federal government levels. At the same time, a personal relationship evolved through the years, and we were able to share many laughs together, even when dealing collectively with many complex and significant issues. Mayor Eccles is married to Joanne, and they have 2 children, Brock and Brittany, with 5 grandchildren. And as far as I know, Mayor Eccles does not have a trailer at Sauble Beach. So again, Mayor Eccles, just congratulations, and we do have the certificates from MP Miller and MPP Walker, who I know you cherish greatly. And that's a little inside joke from political party. Part of the laughs we had is discussing party politics eventually. And then again, the West Grey plaque in recognition of an appreciation for your dedication and commitment to community building 2001 to 2018. Congratulations, Mayor Eccles.
Thank you, Mark. you're right. It took a lot of time. And I did a lot so that the rest of these buggers could go off to Sauble Beach.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But now that I'm looking at retirement, it seems to be the place to be, right, Rob? Yeah. Okay. It's been fantastic. I have no regrets about my time here. The accomplishments. I think we're one of the few municipalities in Ontario and maybe possibly Canada that's diverted a river. We managed to do that so that, I guess I can say this, what the heck, so that our shit didn't go down the river to Hanover. I was extremely fortunate to be here. We've accomplished an awful lot, but it's been a team effort, and that's what I truly cherish most, from the staff, from the council, and from the community at large as well, too. If there is going to be one thing that I'll miss, it's those arguments and debates,
Islanders,
on that
Leafs.
blue Islander, or the Maple Leafs.
Patriots, Bills.
It's the Patriots. It's not the Bills, Mark. It's the one thing we did agree on was Man U. Good. Okay. But that's across the pond. It's been a lot of fun, but as Councillor Lawrence has said, things always are changing, and I look forward to whatever changes are out there. Maybe I can go back to school. Maybe I can become a little more educated. Maybe you can run for council, and I'll prove to you, and I can run for mayor, and I will be the best mayor that you've ever served with. But that'll be a while down the road, Carol. I want to read, and I read this, I had the great honor of what it's done, the privilege of meeting so many great people and creating great friendships. Over the past month, I've been able to lean on a number of those friends. As I said, Mr. Pringle and Mr. Barfoot are here representing Grey County tonight. John S. You don't need a mister, you're just John S. Mr. Black has always been a mentor and been there. Enjoy those times when you get caught up in Glenelg and you've got to stop by. Rita always has a nice cup of tea, and John had some very good wisdom, so that's what we've got to have. Enjoyed the trips. Chris was the best mayor that Durham had and the best mayor that West Grey had. When we traveled to Korea, and I think that's one of the things that I've never had enemies, and Chris, that confused the heck out of the South Koreans that you were the former mayor and I was the mayor, and we were traveling together and were able to talk to one another. And that doesn't happen in a lot of the world, and I'm glad that it happens here, and privileged. As I've said, been excited to have involved in an awful lot of stuff, and it has been a strain on family, but I'm starting to adapt a little bit, and I got to say thank you to Councillor Herget. This weekend I missed the tree lighting, but I just said, what the heck, I'm going to Kitchener to see my granddaughters, who I hadn't seen in 3 weeks, so thank you for looking after that, and I'm going to spend a lot more time with them. I've had the privilege of reading a poem at the Words Aloud Festival for the last, I think they're 15 years, and I think I've read the opening and represented the municipality 14 out of those 15 years. And I came across one the other day that I have lived by and think it's very pertinent to today's celebration. Poem is Anyway, and it's from a sign on a wall in a children's home in Calcutta, and it was blessed by Mother Teresa. And it goes like this: people are unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. love them anyway. If you do good, people will accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Do good anyway. If you are successful, you will win false friends and true enemies. Succeed anyway. The good you do will be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Honesty and frankness make you vulnerable. Be honest and frank anyway. What you spend years building may be destroyed overnight. Build anyway. People really need help, but may attack you if you help them. Help people anyway. Give the world the best you have, and you'll get kicked in the teeth. Give the world the best you've got anyway. Any way about it, I wouldn't change it. Thank you very much, and it's been a privilege. Mark, Laura, Carrie, Brent, Eunice, keep partying, Tom, Kathy, even to you, Mr. Crosby. Thank you anyway. Thank you, everyone.
So we are going to take a time, we have some refreshments for everyone, and thank you all for coming and celebrating with us today's evening. It's a special moment, and again, congratulations to all the council, and so we'll reconvene in perhaps a half hour, and hopefully I'm sure we'll have an opportunity. I believe Eunice has a camera, and I'm sure there's other phones or cell phones that we can get some pictures either individually or collectively with those outgoing council members. Thank you.
Okay, we're down. Staff reports, bylaws are done. New business. Call the meeting back. Better call the meeting back to order. Thank you, Bev. You're welcome. Okay, new business. Addendum. Not that we're aware of. Mark? Notice of motion or direct motion. And we do have one. I'll need 2/3 of council's approval to introduce a motion about the obsolete council iPads for departing councillors. All in favor of introducing this new motion? Any opposed? Anybody indifferent? Okay. Declare that we have the 2/3 majority to introduce a direct motion. Send that to get the mover and seconder for that. Thank you, Laura. So under direct motions, I have a motion moved by John A. Bell, seconded by Rob Thompson. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby approves the disposal of obsolete council iPads to departing council members at no cost. Any questions, comments on that? There was a question previous before we introduced this, and talking to our very efficient and effective Director of Finance, she said that most iPads out there, you can buy a lot of 100 for somewhere between $15 to $20, but you've got to send them to the US to do that, which is $25 delivery charge, shipping. So iPads are, they're worth a bit for somebody, to play Candy Crush or something like that on.
Farm Bill.
Farm Bill. Oh, would that be one of them? You're not an advocate, Councillor Cutting. You're addictive to that. Anyways, that's just to answer that question that was brought up earlier. Any questions or comments on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Yeah. anyone wants to, any of the council members would like to step into that, please, before in the next 2 weeks, bring them back in. Carrie will wipe off all the access to the network and return it to you operationally. Thank you. Needs to be done. Closed session. I don't believe we have any, so that one's done. Question period. At this point, if there is any questions or any comments on anything on the agenda, would be the time to stand up, Bob, and give us that. 18 years. Now I know I can retire. We've hit the jackpot. No questions on the agenda. Municipal Act notices? Any further comments from council members? Councillor Cutting, please.
Yeah, I guess I neglected to say something during our little speeches, and that is some words of wisdom for the new council coming in. I sort of calculated, and there's 90 years of experience leaving this table. No? Oh.
That was a wow. That was not a no.
Oh, I thought I was being... and there's 5 years coming in. So my words of wisdom and experience would tell the new council to really respect and rely on your staff. You have an extremely efficient and good staff here in the office. They have been a pleasure to work with. They have never steered us wrong. If we question something, we put it on hold, we wait, we get the answers from staff. And I think that as long as the new council really does rely on staff to get them the information that they require or request and listen to staff recommendations, I don't think there'll be any problems whatsoever. But they must rely on the staff with being a brand new council. Thank you.
Thank you, Bev. Anything further? Councillor Lawrence. Carol?
My words are somewhat like Bev's. To the new council, I would just like to say you're elected to act for the people's best interest to the best of your ability. So do not be led. Use your own good common sense and judgment for the good of the municipality. You all have one vote only, and each vote, no matter your position, is weighed the same. Do your homework, be prepared, keep informed, stick to your own convictions. Don't be afraid to speak out on or disagree on an issue. You will gain more respect in the community. We have, as Bev said, excellent staff and senior management here. Listen to them and liaise with them, to them, if you have a question as to why things were done or whatever. But do listen to them, as Bev said. They can make you look good. You do an excellent job here, all of you. Council should not micromanage. You set policy, budget, and staff carried out. Do not interfere. They are experts in their field, which none of you are. Don't make changes for the sake of a change. We're in good shape in West Grey. And to me, the big issue right now is Rockwood Terrace. We fought to get it, and now we have to fight to keep it. The two that go to county, keep in mind Rockwood Terrace is a priority. Both of the deputy mayor and the mayor campaigned on the basis of keeping Grey Gables open. But if it comes to a vote to keep only one, your priority should be Rockwood Terrace, which is in West Grey. We had an excellent Save Rockwood committee. Call on them again if you need help through Steve, who was an excellent member on that committee. And thanks, Steve, for your work on that. So good luck. We will be watching. I will be watching, as will many people. So want you to do a good job with your governance and your decisions. And I encourage everybody to read George Cuff's, maybe Eunice would run it off. I don't know if they got these yet. Did they, Mark?
Municipal World, yes.
This is October.
Yeah, we were
No,
here.
the new council.
Oh, the new council?
There's an article in here by George Cuff. It's a new world, or is it? And he says, becoming an elected official is akin to finishing page 1 of a very long book. While the process might have been challenging and exhilarating, it is but step 1. The world of an elected official is a very different and difficult one. I would request that that be copied and given to the new councillors. There's some very good things. It's called The Landmines of Council, which there are many. But you have a huge learning curve ahead of you, so do take the time. And as I said, my tagline was, I don't want to micromanage, I just want to be informed. And that's the way you should be. So good luck with it.
Thank you, Carol. Anyone else?
Just publicly like to thank Mark again for keeping me up to date, Kevin. It's been great.
Very good.
And it's been great working with all of our staff here. You're excellent. And Mr. Mayor, I did say you might be number 2, but it's been a pleasure working with you.
Well, as long as it's, yeah. I was taking it, it wasn't number 2, it was just 1A, 1 and 1A. Okay?
Hey, 2 of the 3 ain't bad.
And I listened to a lot of meatloaf.
If you're in the top 2 out of 6, that's not bad.
Okay, yeah, I'll take that. Any other councils have anything? Seeing as this will be the last council meeting I chair, or serve as chair for some time into the future, I'd just like to say thank you again to the council members that I've had, Bev and Carol, for the 18 years that I've been on council of West Grey, and to all the council members that I've served with. It's been very, very gratifying, sometimes frustrating, but the one thing for the new council is you can do a lot more as a team than you can as an individual. Debate it, argue it, bounce it around, spin it around, wherever you want to go on any subject. But when the vote is taken and it is resolved, you're going to go one way or the other. Band together as a team and get it done. That would be one word of advice. Second one for the incoming council, as Carol has said, the campaign is arduous. It's exhausting, trying to get to every house and up every laneway in West Grey. And I think it's probably an impossible task if you have anything to do and keep doing a job, or are on council, it gets a little bit more. But the act of governing, as Carol said, you've page 1 to get elected. It's a 1,000-page novel. It makes War and Peace look like an afternoon read. You will have to learn continuously and read enormous amounts to be informed, to make the informed decision. But once the decision is made, band behind it, band with it, and that is the wish of your team. And you're going to accomplish a lot with a team. The last point is, and it was that other mayor from Durham who never did serve in West Grey, so I feel good about that. Only joking. But Chris Kennedy told me once, a long time ago, and I value that friendship, it was, and it's something very poignant, doing what's popular is rarely right. Doing what's right is rarely popular. But in time, the public will find if you're doing it right, they'll reward you. And when you're doing it right, as a former councillor said, you're going to have to use these. Remember that, Carol? Carol Leibold. Bev, you still have them when she retired.
I'm leaving them here for the next one.
I believe I will too. And it's going to have to take, because no matter where you are, what you're debating, there's always going to be somebody out there that thinks you're wrong. But you're here to do the best for your community. Do the best for your community anyways. Again, thank you very much to the staff. And again, thank you very, very much to the team for supporting the vision of West Grey for the last 18 years and continue forward. I look forward to watching the growth happen. Thank you. And Elvis has now left the building. Good night, Adam. Motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Cutting, seconded by Councillor Lawrence. All in favor? The council stands adjourned. We'll look forward to the new one.